Good morning. Just doing a little check on the grow situation. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. Got mycelium popping out. Mycelium on the surface there. This one seems to be doing a little bit better. I see a little bit more mycelium starting to colonize the surface there. You can see them white spots. That's mycelium. And this one here, it's got a lot of colonizing. The surface looks really good. You can kind of see all that white on the surface there. And the condensation that you see in the bags is just humidity. It's a little bit cooler in here. About 21 degrees Celsius. I had 6 bags. I lost one. I probably could have salvaged it, but it got a little tear right in the corner here. I didn't notice it until I was inoculating. And all of a sudden grains and stuff were spilling out, sawdust. So our first week's run is 2, 3, 4, 5 bags. Should have been 6, but it's okay. Grain spawn. This was jarred on 2/8. And it's already starting to expand off the agar. Those little squares are agar wedges. It's like a gelatin that I've inoculated with mycelium, and then it started colonizing that gelatin. Then you cut it up in the small little chunks. You put it in your jars of sterilized and processed grain. In this case, it's rye. But in the future, I'm going to be switching to oats. Oats are gluten-free. Rye is not. I actually have to run out and get some rye today. These, let's see, these were jarred the week before. Now these colonized once already, kind of like that. And then once they get so much mycelium growing in them, then you break it all up, shake it up to distribute the broken up kernels. And then each one of those kernels becomes its own inoculation point. And it's much easier for the mycelium to colonize the grain. This one, I'm not sure, but I think this might be contaminated. Maybe not. Might be fine. It's got a little bit of weirdness to it that I'm not liking. This one though. This one looks good. Not fully colonized yet. Pretty darn close. Takes about 3 to 4 weeks. This stuff's not as speedy as the oysters, but it's getting there. Would like to see a little bit more speed out of it. I think the jar type has something to do with it. I got these in quart jars. It's the only thing I had available because I had all my pint jars all taken up with stuff. So this might be trapping too much of the CO2 in the jar. There's holes in a lid underneath this polyester fiber disc. This is just a filter. Filters the air going in, keep out the contaminants, but allowing gas exchange. So as you see the level of this grain here compared to the top, so it's not going to build up as much CO2 because it's so close to the filter. It'll constantly exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen. This one's going to be probably a little CO2 heavy because CO2 sinks and it's going to want to sit in here and build up until it can reach that top and start, exchanging that gas. But in the meantime, this is all high concentration CO2, so that might not be a way to go in the future for those. But you kind of see how well that's colonized, and how these are just kind of starting out. When these inoculation points get bigger and start spreading, then I'll actually shake this jar up, break up the clumps of myceliated grain, and stir it around, let it sit for another week or so, and it should just be a solid white mass. Kind of like, let's see, these are the same way. See how fast that's colonizing? I mean, we just did these on 2.9, so those other jars should be looking better than this. It should be looking like that. That's fully colonized, ready to go into the bags. So, but these are 4 weeks old. But do you see the difference in the grain level from there to there? Not much. Carbon dioxide can build up. Now they like a higher than normal carbon dioxide level, but I think that's obviously acceptable. But having that much grain in there with that much space for it to fill up before the carbon dioxide starts exchanging, that could be a problem. So I'll have to keep that in mind for the next batch that I run. So today I'll have to start more culture plates, and then I have to start 6 more bags of the substrate. That's what we call the substrate. I think we're just going to do 2 kinds. I've got enough to run 3 different kinds, 3 sets of one kind and one kind. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm only going to do 2, because I pretty much know that the 3rd variation of substrate that I started is not going to be as good as some of the others. So I might just slim that down to 2, use up the supplies that I bought, and then go with my preferred method, which is Master's Mix. So, alright, time to go make the donuts. See you guys.